Okay, we're good. Welcome to the Deal Champs podcast. We got the Master of Hair's hair is out today. Captain America decided to do his hair today. It's going to be a great day for the pod. Dean told us this morning that it's Lululemon weather all day, every day down in San Diego. He has the jumpsuits out, walking the beach, barefooted, like it's time.
Check my story. Literally 10 minutes ago. This is not exaggeration or a flex, by the way. But 10 minutes ago, before jumping into my office, my toes were literally getting wet in the sand at the beach. And it's gorgeous out today. I just got to say.
Is it rejuvenating?
Lightweight flex. Just a lightweight flex. That's all right.
5 minutes before I hit my office, you wouldn't believe it. I had my toes in the sand. Toes were in the sand. I saw the ocean. I saw a dolphin jump. I was like, oh my God, my life is awesome.
Dude, it was glassy today. You could just like see through the water. It was super nice. I was like, wow. Maybe I just call in sick, dude. Call in sick for the podcast and go for a swim.
Like, I'd say that's a 5 out of 10 flex, but it's still a solid flex.
It was good. Subtle but good. Subtle but powerful.
Right. Don't forget to hit guys, like and subscribe if you want to see how Dean lives on the beach for 8 hours a day and still makes millions of dollars a year doing nothing. If you guys want to do that, don't forget to like and subscribe. Real quick about myself, my name is Stratton Brown. We've built 2 different companies of 7 figures. Right now we're on a 7-figure challenge where I've made all the mistakes that you do not have to wholesaling houses across the country. And we have the master of hair with the hair out, Mr. Jason Pritchard.
What's up, guys? Your other co-host here, Jason Pritchard. Quick backstory on me. I worked in corporate America for 15 years, grinded it out, did not like my life or where I was at financially, and decided to burn all the boats. And we started investing in real estate full-time in 2014, have not looked back since. We have done close to 500 deals in that same time frame. And we've accumulated a rental portfolio just north of 100 units here in Central California. And our goal, as always, is to try to transfer as much real-world applicable advice to you guys that are watching so you can get to your goals faster and avoid all the mistakes that we made along the way.
And we have the Captain America, Mr. San Diego, Beachbody, Dean Rogers.
What's up, guys? Your other co-host, Dean Rogers. For those that don't know me, I started my career in the NFL. Then I transitioned to corporate. Then I transitioned to real estate. Been investing in real estate for a decade now in Central California. We are super duper close to 700 deals. We're going to get there. We should get there before the end of the year. And we have an 8-figure rental portfolio, coaching students how to get started in real estate with wholesaling. You guys can always connect with me at deanrogers.com.
All right, boys, let's get this going. What first topic should it be? How to get the most out of a networking event?
Start with the mentor. I like the mentor one, dude.
You like the mentor? How to find a mentor?
I mean, how many people do you get that come out and ask you like, hey, I need a mentor? Like, how many posts like that do you see from new investors, right? Like in different Facebook groups are getting started. It's like, man, I need a mentor. I need to get started. I think lots of people have maybe a different idea of like what a mentor is, at least from my personal firsthand experience from the guys that mentored me first starting. So I think that's a good topic to kick us off.
I think the hard part is when you get on like the podcast journey, everybody talks about getting a mentor and how it like changed their life.
Yeah.
But then you don't realize you have to bring a lot of value to that person, and just expecting someone to give you all of the sauce for free when they have a wife, kids, a company, employees who depend on them, just to drop everything and then answer their questions is kind of, especially if you're coming from like a 9 to 5, you don't see how the sausage is made and like how jam-packed everyone's day is. You're like, yeah, bro, just pick up your fucking phone. Like, I can't. I legitimately cannot pick up my phone.
Yeah.
I cannot pick up my phone to like help you out with this. I'd love to put it in a voice memo, and I promise you I'll get back to you within 24 hours. If I don't, hit me with another text. It'll come back up to the top and we'll hash it out then. That's what I tell people most of the time. If I get a new person, like they're asking for something, I'm like, hey, here's how I usually do it. And then that way. And we can go into how to find one, which I think is good. And whatever you have, Dino.
What's interesting about you saying that about the day being jam-packed, I think it's really easy to assume, like you said, that people just have time. Like, why isn't this person answering my question or picking up my call? One of my superpowers that I've said for a long time is just my ability to answer the phone, like being available and being responsive. You know, some people would often say stuff like, dude, my phone didn't even ring. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I got my phone here. I'm ready to answer it, you know? But more and more recently, I have embraced the ability to say no. And I'm sure people have heard about like the importance of saying no and that being tied to your success. I more and more recently have been saying no to conversations. Now, if it's somebody who's on my team, if it's somebody, it's like an important part of putting a deal together, one of my students reached out and needs help with something, like I'm going to go out of my way to try to answer that and jump out. Amy Majori says, "What's up, boys? What's up, Amy?
What's going on, Amy? Best arms in the game.
Private money lending queen right there.
There you go.
Best arms in the game. I like that.
Amy's got some great arms, bro.
Yeah, she could take some people out with those things. But I have more and more lately been saying no and forwarding calls intentionally, and oftentimes with deals that we're selling, with deals that we're wholesaling, I almost love to forward calls from buyers just to reinforce like, hey, this deal's hot. Do you want it or not? You know, and making them be more decisive themselves. So I definitely think that people take that for granted and not realize how busy a day is. We got Morgan in my IG saying, I do love that people become a part of a mentorship communities and aren't active, then expect their questions and 911s to be answered. That's another good point right there.
That's a solid point.
That, you know, just because you are part of a group doesn't mean that, you know, everybody can stop everything when at a moment's notice. So that's a valid point too.
I think for me, this is where I feel like the big hiccup is at the beginning for lots of new investors that are trying to find a mentor. There's not a lot of self-awareness, and you guys touched on it already, dude. It's like they don't have a proper understanding of like the value of time of the person that they want to do their mentoring, right? And then you said it again. It's like, hey, I have a need right now and I want to get this done, when you haven't really kind of established a track record. So I think all of us, and I'll speak for myself, I took the approach where I was going to try to implement as much as I can. And this was the test that I always gave myself. I never wanted to go back to the person that I was looking to get advice from and ask the same questions, right? Because that to me is a very clear indicator that you didn't take my advice the first time that I gave it to you. Because if we keep coming back and we're asking the same question over and over and over again, you have not implemented the advice that I gave you. Because if you had executed on it, we would be talking about something different, because you'd be at a new level of the game where new problems will come up, right? And so that's the first tip that I'll give you. If you're looking for a mentor, it's okay to ask and it's okay to go get that advice. But when they give it to you, you have to execute the best that you can. And the way that you know that it has worked and you're ready to ask new questions is that your problems have changed. And now you've got a new set of problems that you need to solve. That was always a big thing for me.
I got Scott on my IG saying, Dean's ability to answer the phone is proof to me of cloning. Busiest guy and always answers, always. So Scott's a great example, Jason. So Scott's on Jason's team. Scott is a perfect example of somebody whose phone call I want to answer, because that guy wants to add value and that guy wants to not waste your time. He wants to do business. Doesn't want to waste your time. And to me, like, I'm always inspired when I talk to him, you know, like, because he's just somebody that you want to talk to and there's an opportunity to learn and grow together. So, that to me is amazing. Scott said, Jason has to dial me back at the start. To this day, I'm still a little trigger happy to interrupt. I know that can be a challenge for some people that are anxious, eager, motivated, you know. Let's see. Scott said, implement 131 problem solutions, best solution. So that's probably something you guys do on your team. You'll have to unpack, Jason. Amy, one of my students that agreed, Dean is phenomenal. So again, like there's certain people you want to give your time to and be available. And then others, you just have to be aware, like, hey, I don't have time for that now, but I could get back to it.
I feel like if you want to, though, you got to earn it. because I will say I've earned the opportunity to call Dean and vent to Dean about some bullshit I'm going through and waste 10 minutes of his day. Yeah. But at the same time, me and Dean have made $500,000 together. Right. Yeah. And so it may go into some business, then we'll hash out some business. I'll bring up something, we go from there. But like a lot of these conversations, when you like want to mentor, I remember like I wanted like a friend group. You kind of have to earn your friend group if you want to get there. Like you have to be that person of value if you want to be around a lot of people of value. I think Scott and Cade have like their young investor meetup, which is really good. Finding people who are right there, like having someone, I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, having someone a year or two ahead of you, and then having someone who you can see in like 10 years, I want my life to be like that. But really, you just want that person who's like a year ahead of you. You don't need someone who's 10 years in the game. You can't even handle all the game that they can.
You might not be ready for that, right?
Bro, you're not ready for it. I'm not ready to like go and like Elon, bro. How do I get to a Billy? Like, how do I even ask? What am I doing wrong? Right? How do I land the rocket? Like, bro, I'm not prepared for that because I'm not that level entrepreneur yet. And so you need to be a little bit aware, and it's okay if you're not getting like the big dog. If you get like that investor who's doing a couple deals a month and they're still in your market and they're like, hey, yeah, bro, do it this way. And you go and implement and you come back, I promise you'll learn from him, you'll grow, and like, awesome, you'll go to the next one and go to the next one, and you'll earn yourself into those new rooms.
So quick shout out to Strat. So the reason I love answering Strat's calls is because I'm excited to hear what he has to say, whether it's event, whether it's a business idea, whether it's something that we're already working on together with Deal Champs, whatever it is. Strat has put me on game for years and years and has always encouraged and motivated me to be a better version of myself. So I could almost bring myself to tears to put you up there and say, you know, what you've done in my life. But another comment on my IG, Morgan says, I'm a part of Sam Prim's community and he answers my questions, laugh out loud, and love that he coaches. Great guy. So there's lots of great coaches and mentors out there, right? Depending upon what you're looking for, what you want your business to look like. So let's get into it. Let's talk about like how
Sam's
do you
find. I want to put that on the record real quick. Sam's a loser.
I wish Sam was in the live IG right now so he could see that or he could hear it. Let's start with how to find the right mentor, like the right mentor for you. What are the things that you guys think you should be looking out for?
I think here's the mistake that I see sometimes people making. One, I think they shoot probably like really high for a mentor that, like, I have people that will reach out and be like, hey bro, can I shadow you? Can I come to your office and like shadow you for the day? And you're just starting out in the business, right? And I've done that before in the past, but what I've learned is like what I do with my day is the exact probably opposite of what you need to be doing at your day when you're starting, right? And so it's okay to have a mentor or somebody that you aspire to that's like, let's call it 7 to 10 years down the road that like, man, dude, in 10 years, like I really want to accomplish something like this. But what I started with was with people that were like 2 or 3 years ahead of me, right? Because the gap that you need to close between that person versus the person that's way up here, I think is so much more achievable and at least attainable at the beginning when you're starting out. And I think when at least what was proven to me, dude, when I found value or was able to provide value and get around those people that were a couple years ahead of me, the relationships at the top started to present themselves because now I started to have like an actual track record in the business, right? And so like the things that I'm solving and the fires that I'm putting out are just not the same as somebody that's brand new. So you need somebody that's a little bit closer to kind of where you're at on the trajectory for your business to start. And then the bigger relationships I think will come.
How did you, we're not going to answer it, Jason. We're not going to answer it.
I know. I saw it.
Not gonna answer it, bro. We're not going to answer it. I got connected with Alan, and who is a mentor of mine and Jason's. And Alan is, I'd say, 1 in 5 men who changed my life forever. And it's because I went to a meetup, I met him there, and then he told me to do something. I didn't call him back for like a month until I had someone who said they wanted to sell a house. So he told me what to go do. I went and implemented it all. And then I called him. I'm like, bro, this woman wants to sell her house. What should I do next? I don't know. Like, I've been doing this for a month. And she just like raised her hand. She said, yeah. And then he just walked me through it. And then eventually I ended up working for him, running a lot of his day-to-day. And I got an MBA in real estate, I want to say in a 2-year span to where I would have never gotten that anywhere else, learning how to underwrite multifamily, talk to multifamily sellers, really how to conduct myself in business, all these great things. But it came from me taking the initiative and bringing him value. And I mean, he would wholesale the deal. He's like, bro, I'll just give you $1,500. But then me and Zeno spent 2 years with that guy. Like me and Zeno and Alan Folio would be driving down the street going to pick up fucking rent checks. Right. And that's what it took in order to get to where I am today.
Initiative, bro, was the key word that you said. I think that was the big thing. There's lots of things. One of the easiest resources that we have access to right now is information. So there's lots of stuff that you can teach yourself that you don't necessarily need a mentor to kind of walk you through, right? Like how to comp deals, how to, estimate rehabs. There's all this free information that's out there. And I think you said the right word, dude. It's like you took the initiative to teach yourself as much as you could, and then you use that mentor relationship and leverage it to fill some of the gaps that needed to be filled to quickly kind of get to where you wanted to go. And I think that's when people that are successful that don't have a lot of time, that's a hard thing to manage. Is just you don't have the access to be able to deal with all that stuff.
And real quick, never say, "Can I pick your brain?" Just don't say it.
Yeah,
just don't say it. And don't ask them if you can take them to lunch either. That one's lunches for me are terrifying. What if I get stuck at a lunch that I don't want to be at? I just want to be transparent. For me, I'm trying to implement gym sessions. So like me and Jacob Espinosa for networking, we went to the gym at like 5 a.m.
That's a good idea.
Got like a Friday pump on. We didn't hit the cold plunge. I should have and just sent Dean a video since he's so scared of the plunge. Can't handle it. Can't hang with the sauce.
Hey, I got in there. I warmed it up for you too. Come on.
If you want to, like, and that's a hack, get in their environment and bring them value. I'm like, bro, let's just go hit the gym. Let's go hit the gym. We can talk business. We talked about deals and everything else. We knocked it out in an hour. We got a great pump on and then went about our days. Because like for me, I eat lunch in 15 minutes and I'm back on calls. I don't necessarily like going to lunch. I really only go to the gym and then I'm on the phone all day walking around.
So let's talk about, we said that, if you want to get into a circle or start having conversations with a mentor, somebody that you aspire to be like, right? How do we get into those conversations? What is the appropriate way to do it? And I know we've had this conversation at length, but we've more or less said that we need to add value somehow. Now, a great question to open up with from Ziello is, what about women approaching a man mentor? What do we think about that? Does it matter about women finding a women mentor, or man finding a man mentor, or does it matter? What do you guys think about that?
I don't think it matters. Just don't hug them. You're fine.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. I mean, you've got coaching students, Dean, that are female. So do I, and vice versa. I think you pick somebody that you resonate with, dude. And I think you pick somebody that like you're aligned with, you can see a lot of yourself in that person and you want to do that. And then the $1 million question is add value. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck. So I'm curious to see ideas or hear your guys' thoughts on what are appropriate ways to try to figure out how you add value to somebody. Cause I can understand how that could be intimidating, right? It's like, what value can I add to Dean? Dean's doing 700 deals. He's doing all this. He's got all this cool stuff going on. How can I, as a brand new person, try to provide any type of value to a guy like Dean or a guy like Stratton? I can see how that can be a difficult question to deal with.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. I would say my go-to absolute favorite, it seems too obvious to even say it, but I still think it's worth saying because I think people are missing that it's just right in front of them. And how can you instantly add value and get somebody's attention, their time, their effort, just everything that you're probably looking for. So my opinion is the ultimate way to add value to a mentor, to get into conversations with them, to get their support, is to bring potential deals to that person. Okay. Seems too obvious, but the whole thing that a person who's busy and is already doing deals, what's going to add value to them instantly is more opportunities, more deals, right? If it's somebody just taking their time away from the deals they're already doing or other potential deals to just answer questions, it's not really adding as much value, right? But if you're showing up with, here's an opportunity, can you help me with this deal? Or, hey, I have this person who's interested in selling their property. Here's the numbers that I'm at right now. What am I missing? Or can you help me close the deal? Or I have this deal under contract. Can you help me sell this deal? Right. It at least presents the opportunity for that person, the coach, the mentor, right, to be able to give feedback, right? Actual feedback on that specific situation.
You can deliver great feedback in that certain situation. It's a gold line. If you're like, hey, bing, no, because of this, fix this, no, because of that, go back and do this. I promise you this will work out. Bro, that's a masterclass on that situation, because every deal is a little bit different, of you knowing how to handle that and implement it. Sorry, Dino, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's perfect, because it's an opportunity to provide that feedback and to still create a potential win-win scenario for you and that other person. So if I'm looking to get someone's attention, me showing up with an opportunity is the best way to get into that person's world and start having conversations. So I've done that myself personally. I've had other people do that to me, and I want to give that person time. I want to help support them to find success, because maybe it can then just turn into success for both of us, and it's value all around. So I love that.
I would say, I mean, this one's going to sound, I said it, and find a mentor for free. Pay someone. Paying someone gets your questions answered immediately. When I started doing virtual wholesaling way back when I left Allen, I didn't know how to do something. I paid this dude named Chris Bruce, the only black wholesaler I could find on the internet at that time. And I had his boxer, right? And so I had his boxer. I'm doing a deal in Salt Lake, and I'm like, man, I don't even remember what it was. Like, man, I'm running into this issue. I box him. He boxes me back in 30 seconds, and the problem's solved. But I paid, so he paid attention. I got the problem solved, and we made $5,000. But it was like, and I paid him for that one thing, and that's all I needed. And then I have the relationship with him now too, and he's a really good internet marketer, so I can hit him up for other stuff. Same thing goes for, like, if someone brings me a deal, I am much more likely to pick up my phone once they've said, hey, Strat, can you sell this for me? Or, hey, I got a deal for you. What does this look like? Or if a student paid me, like, so Kevin Panu. Kevin paid me, I want to say 3 years ago. Kev still calls me all the time for help now, but he asked for help. He paid for coaching. He implemented everything. And then now I know when he calls me, he's like, hey, Strat, I got this situation. How should I handle this? He's like, this, and this. Okay, bro, do it this way. If it doesn't work, shoot me a text. We'll go from there. But it's, for me at least, to interact with me is if it's straight to the point. I don't need, like, background. I just need to know what's the problem, how we can come up with a solution, and then now we can move forward. And then that's just how you can interact with me to make my life easier so I can move on.
Here's something that actually just happened to me, and I think this is a way that you can do it without maybe necessarily paying. I think paying, you start paying attention, it grabs that person's attention because it shows that you properly value your time. So that's like the fastest shortcut to do it for sure. And I've had people even be like, bro, I'll offer, like, I'll not buy you lunch, but I'll pay for your time, whatever you need. Send me an invoice. Like, just the thought that you're like, hey, I understand that your time is valuable, right? And you lead with that makes me believe that you have maybe a better understanding of, like, how busy my day is. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, let's just jump on a quick call if you have something that's fast, right? Here's something that happened to me that I think you can do without having to spend any money. You need to pay attention to what's going on with the person that you want to get mentorship from. And the easiest way to do that is follow along on Instagram and stories. Like, I know I share very openly lots of stuff that we're working on. I've recently posted about a land deal that we're working on, and I've never done a deal like that before. And somebody that has been coming to meetups that I've been connected with, that I was talking with, that we've been having different discussions about things, used to work in that industry and still does, and was able to connect me with some people that were builders that made some real life connections for me that paid, like, humongous dividends. You know what I'm saying? That actually moved this deal very forward. So that person was paying very close attention to what we were doing. Light bulb went off, said, hey, I work in this industry. Maybe I can make some introductions and connections. Now I'm going to drop whatever I need to when that phone call rings, because I feel like, dude, I'm like, oh shit, dude, like, this person really, like, bridged a gap for me. That was huge. Now, whatever you need, I got you. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like that type of stuff it's not always going to be like an easy or obvious answer, right? And you may have to do a little bit of homework, and you may have to be patient, and you may have to wait for that right opportunity. And that was a good example of something that happened to me recently where that really stood out, and it really helped and provided a ton of value for me. And shit, dude, that was it. So
I would say if you go to a meetup though, and you come and you ask questions, and then because you'll be able to reach out to any of us when we're going to host a meetup here in a little bit, right? You'll come, you'll talk to everybody, you'll talk to us like, hey, here's my questions. If you come back to me with a different question, I'm going to answer. Like if you just send me a DM on Instagram, like, hey bro, what's happening here? I'll answer it because like you took the next step, and we all remember who's talking to us too. Like if you show that you actually like, I'm going to go take action. I did this. What do I do next? If it's like a YouTubeable thing, I may tell you to do it. But typically if you're taking action, it's a very, very specific question that someone's asking. Have you know, like, it's not going to be like some broad answer. It's going to be a very specific question. Like, oh bro, in that situation, do this.
Not like, how do I find deals? Right.
Yeah.
That's a tough one when I get those in the DMs. So Ziello said, how do you choose the right paid mentorship? There are so many mentors, but how do you find the right one that gives you the most value and not gatekeep info? Right. I think that's actually a really good question because I think there are lots of great mentorships out there. I've been a part of a handful of different coaching programs, different trainings, different masterminds. And I will say they are not all created equal. There are some that were super forthcoming with information, wanted to almost overly help me. There were some that were, accessibility was very limited to the people that had the information I needed and wanted. So to even get access to those people, that one's
when
frustrating.
You're in that situation and like you can't really, and it's a huge group, and I can see that being the issue. But if it's gotten that big, the successful people in that group can help you just as much.
Yeah, that's valid for sure. Yeah, I think that's a tough one that I think people find, and I hear from others is like, yeah, I joined, but I didn't really get access to the people that I wanted to. And so, Jason's point earlier of finding somebody who's several steps ahead of you that is still accessible could sometimes be your best bet as opposed to some bigger name that you can't get access to, right? And that can be a really valuable point to be made so that you can make sure you're getting the support you need. I think the support part is where most programs fall short, right? Getting answers to your questions, I always say, whether they're silly questions or they're complex, difficult ones. Someone that can help problem solve with you. And a community that's alive, people that are engaging with each other, working on deals together, encouraging each other. I think that's what we're all looking for is that community.
You first, Jason.
Multi-unit queen, she dropped a good comment, and I think this is another way. She said, my current assistant noticed that I needed help with administrative things and jumped into action just to help me. Now she's being mentored by me on almost a full-time basis to learn. And I mean, I can point to people that are currently on my team now, Scott, Cade, Morgan, Marissa, who started out as an intern with us, right? Like a lot of those people just started out in either internship or very entry-level positions, right? And again, it shows you need to pay attention to the needs of that person at the time and be willing to trade some of your time, which is a commodity that a lot of us that are super busy don't have, right? For the experience and the ability to learn, right? And I think a lot of us started that way too. And I think somebody said, Life with Gabby said, what if you're in college and broke? I would take that route, Life with Gabby. I would say, hey, if you're in college and you're broke and you don't have money, you need to find a need that you can fill and maybe trade some of your time for that experience. It doesn't need to be forever, and you don't necessarily need to work for free forever. But, lots of people have, especially in the real estate business, internship positions and things where you can start, you can learn, you can fill a gap in their business, and you never know what that can turn into.
All right, and I got so many things. Real quick for Gabby. When we are young and broke, people care and they see like light in our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Use that to your ability now, because when you get old, you're just another person and nobody gives a fuck. It gets a lot harder. Like, it's the sad truth of that. Because like, if you think about like Peter, all these massive billionaires, they take on these 20-year-old kids. They're not taking on fucking 40-year-olds. Like, so use your youth to your ability, and it's an asset for you. Like, hey, I'm broke. I'm here to slave away. What do you got for me? Like, I just want to learn everything. And you would be amazed at how many people will pour into. That's what Alan did for me. I was like, bro, I'm broke. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
I'll do it. Like, what do we need to do? And then for the paid one, there is no gate kept information ever in this space. I just want everybody who's listening to this, get that out of your head. As far as to do a couple deals, there's nothing. Like, there's really nothing at all. Zach Ginn, Mr. Guru Hater, puts out enough free content to where no one should ever really sell a course again, in my opinion. Zach puts out mad content. The biggest thing, it's on you. And nobody really wants to come to the conclusion that, like, your success rate is based off of, and Kang talked about this, you and your ability to implement and win and not give up. It has nothing to do with the program, because you're going to go join anybody's program and it is all going to be the same. If they marketed it well, they said it's not the same, but it's still the same. And then you're going to get in there and you're going to realize, oh, wow, the amount of work that is going to take in order for me to get what I want to in life is a lot different than what I thought it would be. Yeah. Jason and all his credit card points, I did not think it was going to be this much hard work to get this many credit card points and spend this much money at Home Depot, right? Like, all these things are going to come up, but that is the whole cold, hard reality of it. You got to work so hard at the beginning because you have your learning curve and you're not used to sucking at something. You got to suck for 6 months just to even know that you suck. Yeah. And then you're like, man, I'm not good. And then you can progress and everything else, but it's on you. As soon as you join that program, the reason paid coaching groups have more success rates than non-paid coaching groups is because when you pay and you have skin in the game, you pay attention. And that is just a cold, hard fact, because there's everything you need on YouTube. Everything, everywhere.
Yeah, so we had Shanae in the comments say, once people realize the work involved, the dropout rate skyrockets. That's where I think there's danger in the free information and getting lost in YouTube University. Is there's just so much information, and a lot of it is good, and then a lot of it is bad. So I think people get stuck in learning mode, and they're not sure what to learn. And what I have personally found, right, which is when I reflect on this, reinforces why I continue to do it. When I've invested in my education, right, the information's already out there, and the information that I'm going to receive from whatever paid coaching program or mastermind that I'm a part of and continue to be a part of, the information is not wildly different. It's just clarity on what it is that I need to do. The clarity part is, to me, the most profound, because when I can see this person who I can touch and feel or talk to is getting the results that they are, and they're telling me this is exactly what they're doing, and I can have dialogue back and forth with them and ask more questions to get clarity, then I can take action with confidence. That's what's most valuable with the paid coaching and finding a mentor, is having the confidence to take the action. And then what makes it even better is when you can actually work through that, right? Because everyone's going to have a different experience and different results. When you can work through that and continue to get the support from that person to navigate the obstacles that you personally are going to face, that to me is where the mentorship really pays it for itself, is being able to help navigate and move through those obstacles.
I'll throw a couple different asides in just for the free mentorship. I think one of the things that you have to do is make yourself available when that person that you want to mentor is available, right? So I'll throw out a couple different examples. We don't have time to just stop everything that we're doing on our day and just jump on a call with every single person that wants to jump on a call. But we do go out of our way. We spend lots of time and money, frankly, putting on different free events that are free for everybody to go. And we will always say, when we start this thing, we will literally stay until the last person leaves from this building. So whatever question you want to get answered, you can come. And if you're willing to wait, I will sit there for you. And we've been there 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, I mean, we're not going and getting dinner afterwards till like midnight sometimes, because we're there for 2 hours after talking to everybody, right? And so that's a real example of when you're meeting that person where they're at when they're available. Like, another example that I see is, if I'm driving around, a lot of times I got 30 minutes in between driving to my office, driving to a meeting. I'll just use that time on the road to hop on a call. And so I'll be like, hey, I can't talk to you right now, but on Thursday from this time to this time, I'm going to be on the road for 30 minutes on a meeting. If it's that important, I can make myself available at that time. Right. And so, I think you just have to be flexible and meet the person where they're at the initial part, if you just want to get some questions answered or just talk, and then see where the relationship evolves and grows from there. But you gotta meet them on their schedule, I think, is a big one.
Have we hashed this one out?
That's a big one, right? The opportunities are there. And I think that people that are seeking opportunities to collaborate and do deals with other people are often people that make good coaches and mentors. And many of them are putting on events, right? We put on events intentionally because we just see the value in it for everybody involved. And you don't know what's going to come out of that, right? You go into it with just the intent, you're going to show up and give your best effort and, meet as many people and have the best intention. And, that's what's so exciting about the business is any new day, there's opportunities to find new deals. So my IG is going off over here. So some great feedback on some of our comments here. Ziello says that's good. Clarity and guidance. Shanae says, was just having a conversation yesterday with a coach who had 0 sales on a low ticket program, but his high ticket program is gangbusters. People find more value when they have that skin in the game, right? Strat, you were making that point. Bennett says, have confidence to take action. Awesome. Pat Hilton up in the chat. He says, people that hate the show hate success. Shanae says, right. Pat Hilton says, collabs are the whole game. Everyone wins. Shanae says, collab trumps competition every damn time. So, lots of great action. Thanks for all that engagement, guys. That's what makes this all fun. So,
shout out Trump.
She used the word Trump without shouting out Trump. So,
shout out Trump. I'll do it. Shout out Trump.
I've got a lot of comments too. This was a good topic. So and let me know if I'm understanding this the wrong way. So Edward Nunez, maybe you can clarify this question. He says, not complaining, but what is your motivation on why mentoring when you're spending your own money in the benefits of others? How do you guys process that? I see you shaking your head, Dean. What's your response?
Yeah, I think what I'm reading between the lines, right? Because I get this question all the time from students like, hey, why are you teaching me how to do this when wouldn't I be your competition? They'll sometimes ask me. And I'm like, dude, that's a super valid question. It really is. But the reality is, and we say this, all of us, all the time, there's enough deals for all of us. And I have personally found that when I first started, I tried to do everything on my own and not collaborate with anybody. Not because I had, a scarcity mindset or that was just the environment, right? There wasn't people like us in Central California that were preaching abundance, that were preaching collaboration, that were preaching, let's get together and learn and grow together. I think what we have is in Central California is extremely unique. And I hear the opposite type of environments in other places. So that environment just wasn't there. Now, as we all got together after, starting our own meetups and starting to preach the same messaging of abundance and opportunities for all of us and compounded that as we got together, I only saw my business get better. And this is while I'm teaching other people. This is when I was just continuing to pour into other people, helping them, showing them how to do it, helping them on deals and doing deals with people. My business just kept getting better and better and better. And I realized there's no shortage of problem properties, right? There's no shortage of it. And there's always going to be people coming into the market, out of the market. So I found that as you actually seek community, that it helps reinforce and strengthen the fact that there are enough deals for everybody. And it helps us all grow and win together more. I'm not doing less deals as a result, and I'm coaching more and more students. Jason, you're coaching more and more students. Stratton, you've coached students. There's not less deals as a result of that. Right. So I only believe in it because I have seen it and experienced it myself. The more people that I help, the more deals I actually do. And it feels weird at first, but when you jump 2 feet in and you experience that, you're like, I'm not backing off of this. I'm just going to keep going and helping more people.
Edward clarified the question, and Dean just gave you your answer. I can't remember if it was Jim Rohn or who I attribute this quote to, but they basically said the more people that you bring value to, the higher your personal value in the marketplace increases. And it feels backwards or uncomfortable or just doesn't seem like it makes sense, because I understand what you're saying, Edward. It's like he specifically followed up and he said, you mentioned you have spent your own money in hosting events. So I'm wondering, what is the benefit that you receive? Opportunities from collaboration or just the satisfaction from helping others? And it's both, bro. And for me, it's the second one, which is the more important of the two. The satisfaction that I get from helping others is much more important to me, and a much better feeling, and a feeling that charges, I think, all of us up in a way that doing deals or money will never do. But that's also a fringe benefit of it, dude. And it really is the honest to God truth, dude. Like when we were all doing our own individual meetups, there was nothing. There was no coaching. There was no nothing, dude. It was literally putting on a thing. We would pay for it. We would just be like, here you go. And it was to just help as many people as we can. And you know what I'm saying? And that always came back full circle in some shape or form. It was a Private Monday relationship or a deal or something else, some problem that I had in my business that a person that I met at a meetup could help me solve. But you get the satisfaction from helping others, and then you see other opportunities that come from that.
For like the helping people, like Anna Covey, I watched Anna go from being an engineer to learning how to cold call. We do a cold calling meetup, and then now she is a full-time real estate investor. I think that's the coolest stuff. Like you got Anna, like Gerald Rojas.
Super cool.
Gerald moved away. Bro, Gerald, same thing. Came in, was like, hey, bro, how do we do this? And slowly implemented. Now he's a full-time investor. For me, wild. That is what is like amazing. And then Tom Crow posted about this the other day, Dean. I don't know if you saw it. Like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do this? It still makes good money, guys. Like, don't get it twisted. It still makes good money. But at the same time, seeing like Henry in your group, Jason, go from like, yeah, he's doing a couple deals. Now he's blowing up. Even I met Jacob at my gym like 2 years ago. And then he joined your coaching group. And then now he's doing all sorts of deals and everything else. He sold his junk company. It's a mixture of everything. It only helps grow as much as if you keep helping people, you make more money, they make more money. It's the craziest thing ever. Everyone makes money. Yeah. Right? Because you're giving them the right information too.
Yep.
Yeah. To have people come up to us, all three of us, and to continually make comments that we've changed their lives. And guys, this is just at a like micro level here. This is going all over the nation, right? But that's why we do it. The people that come up to us and say how, we changed their lives and how they can't believe where life is now. It's pretty remarkable and it's extremely fulfilling. So that's definitely a huge motivating factor for us. Getting crazy engagement and love in the IG today. Benis Lucas says, joined by accident, but I am happy that I did. You are pouring value into people here. ! Thank you for that. Shanae follows it up with Deal Champs is the one podcast I never fail to listen to every week. Benis follows it up. I understand why. Shanae says, let's go. These are my boys. So
I had one question in here. Are we done with this one? We want to move on to the next question? I have one in mind. There was a little one. He said, do you think wholesaling will ever end because everyone's wholesaled or fixed up all the sold or distressed houses in the U.S.?
No, never.
Never,
bro.
You'd think they'd run out, right? You think they'd run out.
You would think that they would run out. You'd think people would stop doing meth. You think people would stop squatting in houses. Yeah. But people die every day. Yep. People squat in houses every day. Houses go to foreclosure every day. I mean, fires happen every day. Like here's all sorts of things that only.
Bro, here's a real example. I was just talking with one of my coaching students. So one of the best marketing channels for us, not marketing channels, but like problems that we solve is probate. We have people inheriting a house that they don't want, right? And here's a great answer to that question. The baby boomer population is the biggest portion, biggest segment of the population. They're also the oldest, right? They're also the segment of the population that owns the most real estate. And believe it or not, there is not always a succession plan for how that real estate is going to get passed down. Most of the time there isn't. And if you can figure out how to just solve that problem right there, right? You can figure out how to get in front of the people that are going through that issue, provide them real solutions to their problems. That is something that is not only going to become bigger over time, but when you add problem tenants or all the other things that you just got done listing, dude, it's going to be never ending. And it all goes to whoever asked that question. It's like whatever you tell yourself is going to be your reality. If you think there's too many people wholesaling and there's not going to be enough houses to wholesale, then guess what? That's what your reality is going to be. If you shift your frame of focus and say, hey, you know what? There's all these opportunities. These are the things that are really going to be problems that I need to learn how to solve over the next 5 or 10 years, then your business is going to grow. And either one of those things will be true for you, my man. So like you can pick one or the other, and just, I'd say pick the one that gives you some runway with your business.
I think Dean's paying people to buy their house though. These KPIs are still out of hand. Like 10 leads, 10 contracts. I think he's just like walking in, handing them some money on the side. Like, yeah, but I'll still buy the house. But like, here's some money up front. Like, it is wild. These KPIs are out of hand.
Hey, the deals are getting better and better and better too. I'm doing a webinar next week on a deal. We made $100,000 last Tuesday on one wholesale deal.
Let's go.
One wholesale deal. And it felt nothing like any other. It wasn't different than any other deal. And it just comes down to following a better process, better script, better training, all of that. So, yeah, there's no shortage of deals. There's the problems you already mentioned, right? Death, there's financial distress, there's physical distress, there's tenant issues. All of these issues are prevailing and consistent. There will always be these problems that exist. And as they continue to happen day after day after day, month after month, these problems will continue to present themselves. And it just comes down to us being problem solvers and putting ourselves in the position to help those people out. So that's a big part of it.
And that came from Miggs 007. And that Miggs, I tell you, wholesale in good markets. If there's anything I've learned, wholesale in California, make your life easy. Everybody wants to buy something in California.
Yeah, no he's here too. Yeah, I know. So yeah, do it here, bro. There's definitely opportunity.
Bro, everybody wants to buy out here. Nobody wants to buy in the middle of Alabama. I'll tell you that right now. I've experienced it.
you know, right?
I know, bro. We fucking called everyone. Everyone's like, no, I don't want this house. All right, guys. Do we have anything else?
That's
we can wrap this. Sweet. Let me get a shout out to my webinar tomorrow. I'm doing with Willie. I'm doing it, Dean. I'm doing the webinar.
Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go.
We'll see how it goes. It'll be tomorrow at 1 PST. We're going to show you how to turn dead deals into 6-figure profits.
Very interesting topic. Very interesting topic. You gotta be there. Got to be there.
Guys, do not forget to hit like and subscribe, and we will talk to you next week.
Peace.